Hi, thanks for being here. My name's Patricia. I am working at Localhost Research. And if you're wondering what is Localhost Research, you're probably the majority. We're new. We are sort of a Chaincode West. By show of hands, does anyone know what Chaincode Labs in New York is? Okay, great. So for those who don't, it's basically where a bunch of open source developers working on Bitcoin come together, and they work on topics like Bitcoin Core or Lightning. There's residencies. We don't offer that yet. But it's basically a way for contributors to work full-time every day on Bitcoin as their career. Come on in if you want or not. Full disclosure, this is being recorded, so if you don't want to be recorded, just find me afterwards and ask a question. I'm around, or you can come find us on our website, and I'll answer later too. So let's kick it off. The title of the talk is Fostering FOSS, Bitcoin Development and Freedom Online. So FOSS is sort of a catch-all term for free and open source software, or if you're Jonas from Chaincode, you might say BOSS, so Bitcoin open source software. We're going to talk about cypherpunks, the early 90s, some philosophy, some history. We'll get into the evolution, sort of how that 90s vision and some ideas turned into what is like more modern day Bitcoin development and Bitcoin labs, and the impact that we hope to have at Localhost. I am not an engineer, but the engineers who work with us will be the ones who I am referring to in much of this work. So please, if you have a question, just raise hand, I'll repeat it, and we'll kick it off. Quick shout out to our founding donors. You might recognize them from other projects, but Mark Casey and Wences Casares, without whom we would not be able to do any of this work. They make it possible, so we have an operations budget. That way, when we do have people who are curious about supporting our lab, everything goes to the developers. So all our funding for operations is from them, and we are so grateful. And I'm just gonna come right up to it. It slouches a little, doesn't it? Okay. Thank you, XFrog. Shout out to XFrog. Okay, so are you guys kind of familiar with the cypherpunk movement? You heard Troy talk about it a little bit. So some of these ideas were on the mailing list. Maybe you guys are on the mailing list. You don't have to say if you are. But privacy, cryptography, the early internet and exchanging via email in a way that feels secure, that feels less invasive. And it's something that I think you might be familiar with from this text. Does anyone know where this is from? Anyone? So this is Eric Hughes. I'll refer to his text a little bit. It's a cypherpunk's manifesto. So privacy is necessary for an open society in the electronic age. So when the internet was at its advent, you had a lot of people who were interested in what are the social aspects of it. How do we protect ourselves? How can we have this almost democratic view where we have anonymity and the ability to reveal ourselves selectively? Meaning you can be as private as you want to be, not because you're hiding things, not because it's a secret, but because you should be able to have freedom of choice. Come on in, come on in. Yeah, come on in. You're never too late. So you're early. You just got here. You're early. We're just talking about cypherpunks. I'm Patricia from Localhost. So another line that Eric talks about is an anonymous system empowers individuals. You probably hear this term a lot in Bitcoin. Individual empowerment to reveal their identity when desired and only when desired. This is the essence of privacy. So a lot of cypherpunks, along with creating this system that would later become Bitcoin, had this idea that we should be able to be anonymous, like I was referring to democracy, right? Like in theory, our votes are anonymous, right? It's not because we're trying to like hide who we voted for, but because you're entitled to that. And anyone should be able to express themselves freely online in that same anonymous fashion. So a lot of the cypherpunks were defending their privacy with cryptography, anonymous mail forwarding systems, digital signatures, and this electronic money, one of which would later become Bitcoin. We were mentioning this before, but this is Socratic style, so if you have any questions, just raise your hand and I'll repeat them back. It's a little more loose here. So cypherpunks write code. Have you guys seen this one on X or Twitter? Or yeah, it's a pretty famous line. So a lot of this idea of freedom, of being able to empower yourself and others, is that basically code is speech. We see this now a lot too with both the Samurai cases and some of the Tornado Cash cases. We do believe that people should be able to be free to say what they want and express themselves via code, and we do that with Bitcoin. Come on in if we have any more stragglers. So how do we get from this area in the 90s where we have these cypherpunks who still exist to where we are now, where we have people working on Bitcoin full-time as a job with benefits to be able to take care of their family and show up to work every day? So we have things like Brink, if you're familiar with that. It's a nonprofit working on Bitcoin research full-time. Also, as you're saying, Chaincode Labs. This is what we're working on at Localhost. So we work on Bitcoin Core. Show of hands, do you guys know what Bitcoin Core is? It's okay if you don't. Okay, so basically, if you're not familiar, it's sort of the foundation when Satoshi was coming up with these ideas of Bitcoin and what it is, and this white paper's coming out on the mailing list, and the cypherpunks are learning about it. Bitcoin Core has been iterated by other developers over the years. We work on it, or at least our developers do. It's a massive effort with a significant maintenance and development need, and it changes all the time. We've been really lucky to have people do this for free for many years, and we believe that they should be compensated for their work, so we try to do that. We're gonna be lifting up new contributors, so people who are younger. A lot of times, our goal being in Silicon Valley is to get people up and out of the FANG companies, to be quite frankly. We want to get people out of Apple, Facebook, Google, some of these big tech companies, and be able to offer them an opportunity to probably not make a competitive salary like they would, but enough to support themselves and their families so they can work on Bitcoin, which for a lot of people is the dream. They just haven't had the opportunity to do so. Come on in if you want, or don't. Turn back, that's okay too. So we're gonna be trying to improve the system with much needed engineering support, with senior and junior developers, and established contributors. So beyond maintenance, peer review, and project management, our team is gonna be driving initiatives from the past and new ones, one of which I'll talk about is a Bitcoin Core wallet. We're gonna improve code structures and optimize performance within the code base for Bitcoin Core. Is anybody on GitHub using Bitcoin Core? All right, it's okay if you're not. You still can. Basically, another initiative we have is we're working on education. So Merch and Ava already do this through Twitch streams, through podcasts. We have OpTech, if you guys have listened to that. We have mentorship, community involvement, like we're doing here. Specification oversight and studying existential risks of the Bitcoin network are also critical to our mission. Our sites are set beyond Bitcoin Core as well. Are you guys there's a big mining community out here. Are you familiar with the centralization environment? We hope to get a mining unit started so we can decentralize a little bit and have a more open discourse around that as well. So our teamwork, our structure is a little bit different than, say, something like Chaincode or Brink, because we like to focus on one team collaborative effort. So instead of having individual research efforts siloed, we would have everything 30% of the time. People come together, we're whiteboarding in the office. 3 days a week, people are in between 10 and 4, and we're working on a shared project. As I said, Bitcoin Core Wallet is our current effort. These are also some highlights. So we have David Gumberg working on compact block reconstruction research. Chow, Ava's introducing air gap support. Coin selection improvements by Merch, and bring the FIBRE network back online, Santos or Walkslit. Bitcoin Core is the forever wallet. It requires stewardship, and we're here to drive it forward and modernize it. This is maybe a trick question, but how many millions of Bitcoin are managed by the Bitcoin Core wallet? Anyone know? It's a trick question because millions are managed, meaning the original wallet was the Bitcoin Core wallet. So when you think about, there's 21 million Bitcoin, some of the OG Bitcoin was mined and continues to be moved through these wallets. So Around 7 to 15% of all daily transactions are sourced, not created, from the Bitcoin Core wallet. So that's pretty significant when you think about it, which is why we feel like it's an effort that's worthwhile, which is why we're working on it. We are also open to other ideas if you have initiatives that you think are worthwhile, but this is kind of our main focus. On that note, I want to just pause if anyone has anything they want to ask or questions. Yeah. It's a project itself, or like how do you know when you're transacting? Yeah. So there's like how do I get like the 7 to 15%? Yeah, through fingerprinting. Yeah, I think that's kind of the short answer. Okay. But yeah, it is interesting. Like how would I not know that it's like Blue Wallet or Cash App? Yeah, yeah. So fingerprinting essentially. Yes. No, you can. I mean, it is. You can run it on your desktop if you'd like. I don't think you're required. I mean, you can run Bitcoin Core if that's what you're asking in terms of node. I think that we're focusing on developing for both, but don't fact check me on that. I want to see what they're working on. Yes, exactly.
It runs on desktop.
But if you're saying, would we in the future be open to something mobile? Possibly, but yeah, great. Thank you for that, the assist. Anyone else before we get into the impact section? All right, let's get into it. So here's what we hope to do. Here's where we're at. As I said, we secured the funding for operational overhead, and we have one lead contributor, one senior contributor, 2 junior contributors, and 2 operators. This is who we have. We have Merch. We have David Gumberg. That little white box is Woxlet or Santos, and HO. Some big milestones, a brief, quick snapshot of where we're at. Last year, we stood up the organization. We recruited the founding team and applied for our 501c3 status, which was approved a few months ago, which is kind of nice. Like, you're always a little bit nervous as like a Bitcoin company to see if like the IRS will allow you to do what you do. But optimistically, we will continue to be a 501c3. And this year, we have an open office set up with 5 engineers, and they're focused on Bitcoin Core, as we said, establishing an internship program. We are raising funds for 2 to 6 contributors over the next 3 years. And in the future, we hope to bring on our mining unit. Again, another Eric Hughes moments. Let us proceed together apace onward. So basically, I just thought this was a nice way to put a bow on it. This is not just us and our research, but something that we hope you guys can take part in and be involved in. We're on X, and we have an RSS feed, and you can find us at community events like BitDevs. And we'd really love for you to get involved. If there's anything that we can do better, this is just something we're trying to be stewards of the community. So please let us know how we can improve. So thank you. And if you have any questions, let's get into it. Yeah. Thank you. Yes.
So what is your role at the center? What do you call it?
It's localhost research. So yeah, localhost research.
And then, like, was the funding kind of done in one round? It's kind of secured for like one round of funding.
Yeah. So my name is Patricia, and I'm the operations director. But ultimately, I guess like this would be considered more education as well. So these are our 2 founding donors. So Mark Casey and Wences Casares. They, with like basically the generosity of like their own hearts, decided they were going to like help fund almost everything so far. We do have our 501c3 status now, so we've had a few commitments that we're going to be announcing soon, which is great because it's tax deductible, and a lot of people like that deduction, especially if you are giving the funding for 3 years for a developer in the Bay Area. I'll be honest, that's probably around $1 million because, you know, like to live in the Bay Area is quite expensive, especially if you're leaving a large tech job. Like, you're used to a certain salary, and maybe you need that. So yeah, 3 years with benefits and everything is quite a bit of a commitment. So we are getting now, I mean, we'll be able to announce it later, but a few more folks in the Bitcoin community who will be funding developers. Right now, that's our main focus, is to give 100% of whatever we're funding directly to them.
And then are you pulling salary too?
Yes, and that is from Mark and Wences. So they are securing all the operations. We have an office in Palo Alto. They also cover that, all the overhead, and like things like lawyers, which you need. But for the developers, they are funding a few devs as well. And we will have everything moving forward go to the devs. Yeah,
I'm asking a lot of questions because
I love it.
my name is Odom, and we're, we want to do something physical space in Seattle, and so
That's
I have
amazing.
a ton of questions about your incorporation, like the way you guys have done everything. So,
Well, let's definitely talk.
How do you differentiate from Presidio, and like what is your relationship with?
It's interesting you should mention it because they're also the funders for Presidio. I guess we differentiate because they're ultimately more of a co-working space. So I don't know if you've been there yet. Have you been there? It's beautiful. Like Presidio is amazing. It's like one of the most gorgeous places in the world. They have like the third floor of this building, like the entire third floor, and people can rent a desk. They can come on in. They can have their company like sponsor them to work out of that office, for example. And there's resources there, like you can have obviously Wi-Fi and electricity and snacks in a kitchen. But like for us, we are a little bit more private for a couple of reasons, but we only hire Bitcoin Core developers right now, and in the future we'll hire mining developers because we have a really narrow focus, and I guess our business models would be different in that we're a 501c3, we're a nonprofit, and I think they are structured slightly differently. So yeah, I mean, we're sister organizations at the end of the day. We're like having the same.
Presidio is also 501c3, right?
I'm not sure on their current status, but they may be working towards a similar goal. But I know that Mark and Wences are super active and basically have made both of those a reality. So if you have a vision for something in Seattle, I would love to talk to you about that. I hope that we can get things like this in every city and have sort of these hubs for developers to come to and work out of. And both are great, by the way, whether it's Presidio Bitcoin or whether it's a local host. I think we need places for events and meetups, and I think we also need places for developers. So whatever your choice organization is, I think it'll be great to bring to Seattle.
This is just my bid for things that open source developers should be focusing on.
Okay.
Backups for core, not supporting bit 39 and like I would love to use core, but like it's not as useful as Sparrow, right? So that's just my thought.
No, I mean, I think that we would probably all agree that core is not perfect and has a lot of room for improvement, which is why we're working on it. But thank you for your 2 cents here, 2 sats here. Anyone else? Yes.
There was a screen where I kind of was showing some of the features that each of the engineers are working on. Could you just maybe go into a little more detail on what those entail?
This one or both?
It was each of the engineers.
Oh, the highlights. Was that it?
Yeah.
Let's get back here. Yeah, so this is kind of like an evolutionary process as well, in that like these interests might change, but basically David is he came out of the BOSS program at Chaincode, so he's one of our junior contributors. He's working on basically like compact block reconstruction research, meaning like you can make smaller size blocks. And Ava is also like a maintainer, so introducing the air gap support was something that she wanted to do. Are you familiar with like coin selection at all, or Merch's research? I see nods, I see shakes. What I would actually say is we have a transparency report coming out in like a week, and it'll go into all of this. So I would love for you to read that, and if I can get your email, I'll share that with you too. Yeah, that'd be great. Anyone else?
What the FIBRE network?
You're back.
Yes.
Okay.
They were looking for somebody that I know. I didn't know it went off on that. Like I don't know much about it actually, but what is the FIBRE network? Why is it coming back?
Well, I will tease the transparency report again, but yeah, I think it went away for a while, and this is something that Santos and Justin, our executive director, are working on. So they have a little bit more context on that for you, but I will also get your email, and I'll send you all sorts of FIBRE network stuff. Anyone else? All right, I think that's it. Thank you.